well, so why didn't they go to us to ask us to
Sure.
do this work? And the question was, you know, probably he got some money back for it, and he was actually investigated, I believe, by the FBI about that, what was going on about that. That was one of the things that they were going after him for.
Well, that'll be a little task for ourselves. We'll start with maybe people on campus who teach public finance and see if they can at least map what this looks like for us in town. And then if we get the names of companies, we can then go through our networks to see if there's anybody who might be willing quietly to walk us through it.
See, I would expect somebody, you know, they say it's public, but, you know, I would expect they would go through somebody like First Tennessee Bank to place the bonds that are going to be sold. And so what happens is they get some money off the top, and then they for that work that they're doing, and then they sell them to raise the amount that was set up.
Bidding on that in Tennessee now? Don't they require bidding, public bidding on that?
You know, I'm not sure that there is. No, there may be, but, you know, in terms of, often they might share it.
Yeah, that's.
You know, that we'll do, this is the issue, this is how much we need, and this bank will take this much, and the other bank will take the other. But,
And that's why when they have those calls, those advisory calls, it's all the ones sharing the, it's essentially salesmen trying to figure out how to shop the stuff. So to the degree you can change the climate on what the value or grade of the investment is, it's huge. But,
well, you know, we've never been in the CRA. We're now experts on the CRA. Maybe it's time to learn something about the bond trade.
well, it's, you know, it's pretty big business in this country,
It would appear. It would appear.
as Robert seems to recognize fully.
Any other questions that people have about, you know, where we might want to go with this?
Well, I was just wondering, like, how we can keep the residents involved, and this is just so big and confusing, and how do we keep them involved, and what's important to share? Of course, we'll invite them to all these public meetings, but like Ken said, our
Yeah,
team
but
is
they have
so
to have a
tiny.
role or they're gone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's even been a financial, to have a meeting is $1,000 between, because we feed them and get a room and print up all the materials at this point. Our collective faculty pocketbook is quite lean. So we haven't had as many meetings. We had a meeting in December, a holiday meeting, which turned out to be quite nice, but we haven't pulled people back together since then. Maybe, we had talked about, we thought there was gonna be this February 5th meeting, and so we had spoken about having a sort of a community forum on this topic and share the responsibility of getting people out with a variety of organizations and sort of, again, claim the issue, define it for the press, and give ourselves some practice in making the arguments that we'd be making before the Community Redevelopment Agency. But that doesn't look like there's going to be anything public until the budget process, right? Probably till April. So maybe we'll look at a.
But what's the informational process to the community right now? Is there even simple monthly meetings or?
Not this month, but we will probably start again in February, sending out letters or doing
Yeah, I mean, to get
knocking.
people out, because we have the Housing Authority and now Urban Strategies, basically telling people that it's done. We're now moving on to relocation.
What's Urban Strategies?
That's the Women's Foundation funded wraparound case management services that you have to be in if you want to have an automatic approval for your Section 8 voucher. So they have really working the folks living in foot homes around, stay with us. These people will get you into trouble to the extent you hang out with them. We may be less eager to go the extra mile on your behalf. So there's been a pretty, like a drop-off, maybe a third, half of the participation from residents, because, you know, they have full-time staff out there doing that now, and we do not.
I mean, I'll just echo Rachel's point about finding that communication stream or that regular place to continue community members' involvement in the campaign, because I can just see what Robert's narrative is going to be when he gets up there and fights for this morning, is rich white liberals over at the university wanting to keep these terrible housing projects open, when what we're trying to do is build people nice houses, right? Is to get rid of this blight that is housing projects in this city. And, you know, if we're not deliberate about how we counter that, and I think the way you counter it, of course, is by having residents lead this fight, to the degree that we can get them involved, right? So, I mean, we'd be happy to think through with you how to do that and to help support as much as we can. I mean, we're having to have some really deliberate conversations right now about what our capacity is going to be around budget season this year. But, I mean, as far as like, you know, organizing monthly meetings and stuff like that, and keeping those going, even if we're not feeding people, or even if we're getting donated food or something, I mean, we'd be happy to help out with that if we can coordinate a little bit more around that. We've got a whole bevy of interns this semester too. I really think that we should stay deliberate about making sure the community's front and center. Because Robert's gonna beat us up on that if we don't.
Well, it sounds like we're excelling at the inside game. We just need an outside game that people have a role in. So maybe we need something simple that allows people to step out right now about, you know, general point of saving their home or whatever, what's happening. Doesn't have to be right aligned to what's going on the inside, as long as we can prove that we still got a base.
So I was just thinking, it seems that would be good if you could do something like, you know, around Valentine's Day. We remember you when we still have this problem we want to help you
We
with.
love foot homes.
And let's bring, you know, something to share, and let's have people who've been through this before, who didn't get housing, talk about the problems that are gonna be around for a lot of people. You know,
Might
it's
be
true
able to
that
get
they only
everybody to
do.
put a big heart on their door. They love foot homes. Let's improve it. You know, yeah, that's a
That
good
kind of
idea.
thing would be important. You know, the idea that
That might
supposedly
be
10% of people get
low
to
threshold
stay.
activity.
What the population is will realize, we're not all gonna be lucky. We gotta work on this.
Mhm.
No, there's no way.
Yeah.
If it follows that model that has been true in the other ones.
I didn't bring my date book. What's the second, we've been meeting, what, the second Thursday or Friday in the month?
Thursday.
Drum rolls.
It is actually the 14th.
It is Valentine's Day.
Oh, God, all right. Well, there you go, there's the.
There's our link.
The stars lining up. So we could do that in February, and then,
Seems meant to be, yeah. Faith, faith and foot.
I mean, if there, in March, if there is something to do in Nashville with residents, like we're already gonna have buses going up on the 12th. And we can get the leaders from Foot Homes up on those buses, you know, and get them up talking to legislators about this. There'll be lobby training once we're up there. We're creating a people's space on the Hill that day, so.
And then we found out just this morning that the Grizzlies adopted the Green Machine food project for their NBA Cares Week. So they're gonna do a dinner for us with some fancy chef from the Grizzlies of our choosing. So we could do, and then the next day, that'll be I think it's the 11th, they wanna do a dinner. And then on the 12th, we're doing the unveiling of our bus.
What is the Green Machine? What is that?
It's a mobile food market.
No,
The
another country has heard from, okay.
Through the Manhattan Collaborative Planning process, one of the, I guess, greatest needs that was first identified was this lack of access to fresh produce.
Right.
And it's one of the biggest urban food deserts in Memphis, and, 80% of people on foot homes don't have cars. Matt is
So it's a
cutting down
mobile
services.
thing that,
Yeah, so we have 5 routes,
15
5
stops.
Well, I guess, yeah. it's
where does the
15
food
now.
come from?
We purchase it from a 3-generation family-owned business that people like, called Easy Way. And we have a MATA bus, which is a former transit agency bus. Antonio has been spending his life living with a group of Mexican carpenters. They're making a prototype for movable shelves as we speak. And so the Grizzlies will do a dinner one night. And we could ask to use the Foot Homes, community center. Have the Grizzlies do the dinner in Foot Homes. We can update people on the campaign and the food bus. And then the next day, we've asked for Zach Randolph and Mark Basal to be the guides to public officials who would be coming through touring the bus all day. It would be the unveiling of the bus.
Good thing you didn't ask for Rudy Gay.
No, I heard he had a problem with the green machine, which is why they had to.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Now it all becomes clear to me now, yeah.
Well, I gotta run, but,
Alright.
you got a great report due by 5, but gotta get people paid, you know?
Absolutely.
But let's be in communication
Yeah,
about this.
we'll do.
As always, whatever we can do to help, so.
Great, thanks, Dave.
Well, it's good to have you help today.
You know, I like meetings I can walk to.
I know now that you're in the neighborhood.
Oh, is that right?
Hi, John. Have a good afternoon.
Well, great.
Take care.
Are we,
Be in touch.
any other burning questions, mild curiosities, smoldering observations?
I've got a mild curiosity. For spring break, the alternative spring break that the law school does each year, we'd like to do some sort of project with city and regional planning. We can basically turn a team of 5 law students over to you guys for that Monday through Friday, the 11th through the 15th. And you can put them to work.
April or March?
March. And you can put them to work on any sort of legal research project that would be relevant to any of the different stuff that CRP is doing, so the Green Machine or the Foot Homes campaign. Whatever you think would work. And then I was thinking we could talk to Jamie Johnson at the MPLC as like a supervising attorney for it.
Okay. Do you think if we could get some empirical methodological direction that we might be able to have them work on the budget stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
If we can get a handle on how one does this analysis, we had a week of 5 smart folks and a
Yeah.
spreadsheet, we could probably wreak some havoc. I do know, I was sitting there, you were saying, do you know anybody who does this kind of stuff? But Kirk Goodrich, who used to be at Enterprise Foundation, his law degree is on focused on municipal bonding and underwriting, and he's a finance guy, and he does affordable housing. I bet you if he couldn't tell us how to go about deconstructing this, he could get us somebody who could. And maybe we can even, now that we have the dates, maybe I could even prevail upon him to come down with his partner and at least get us started. And then as we produce stuff, we could send it up to them electronically, and they
Yeah.
might be able to polish it off for us.
Yeah, that'd be great. The idea would be, give them kind of an orientation day that Monday, do the research Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then present it to a group of stakeholders that Friday morning.
Sounds good.
So that might work. Okay, let's work on that as a strategy.
Awesome. And then Isaac said he wanted to work on that other thing like on his own time, so we can get all that
We'll
to
get
him.
him the documents.
Yeah.
That, the ethics,
Yeah.
the ethics in play.
Well, if we could get some municipal finance people from the university or somewhere else, it'd be good to throw them into the pot the same days, I mean.
Yeah.
Well, Mike Donahue has done some municipal finance work.
Really?
As the head of the parish council at St. Patrick's, and was teaching that at wherever their last posting was. So I'll ask him if that might be something that he could give us a handle on. It's too bad we're not in Ithaca. Karen could give us some assistance here.
Well, he probably has a fax or even email. It's not a bad university.
What's happened to past budget directors in the city? Where are they? They
They're all
those
in
people
jail.
alive, they usually do, 2 years, 3 years, and they're gone. You could sit
That's a
down with
good question.
Somebody who's been around, sometimes they drift over to colleges after they do those jobs.
That's a good question. I'm thinking, is came up with another name, somebody who could be a resource person for Wayne. We have the chief comptroller for the Massachusetts pension fund, so Leonard King's my colleague name. He helped us with some of the housing finance analysis. I bet you he did the green machine budget for us in 20 minutes. So there might be a couple of other wayward Catholics buried in the basement of his building that he might be able to put to work on this.
And is there a new CFO now, or is it still Robert?
Yeah, Robert was also appointed the interim chief financial officer with no extra compensation.
There's a new one?